Good morning, children. We are continuing with chapter 3, How Many Squares? Today we are going to do the book exercise given on page number 40. But before we begin with the book exercise, let's go through the examples given on the same page. The name of the activity is How Many Squares in Me? In this activity, we will learn how to find the area of given figures. A girl is asking, what is the area of this triangle? If you observe closely, this green triangle is actually drawn within a rectangle. I am marking that rectangle with this pen. This is the rectangle. Let's find the area of this rectangle first of all. How many squares is it covering? It is covering 2 squares. And if we assume that each side of the square is of 1 centimeter, that means the area will be measured in square centimeters. So the area of this rectangle is 2 square centimeter. Now, this side of the triangle is dividing this rectangle into 2 equal parts. That means the area of this green triangle is half of the rectangle. So, half of 2 is equal to 1. The triangle is half the rectangle of area 2 square centimeter. So, its area is 1 square centimeter. Through this example, what do we come to know, my dear children? We come to know that when a figure is drawn within a rectangle or a square in such a way that it divides the rectangle into 2 equal parts, then the area of the given figure will be equal to half of the rectangle or a square. Now let's move to the next example. This child is asking, is this shape half of the big rectangle? That means, is the area of this blue shape half the area of the rectangle within which it is drawn? So beta, let's find the area of this rectangle. Again, I am marking it with this red pen of mine. Just observe that this rectangle is actually a 4 by 2 rectangle. That means there are 4 squares in each row. And how many such rows do we have? We have 2 such rows. So that means the area of this rectangle is equal to 4 plus 4, which is equal to 8, or you can say 4 twos are 8. So the area of this rectangle is 8 square centimeter. And we have to find whether the area of this blue shape is half of 8 square centimeter or not. And half of 8 is 4. So let's find whether the area of this blue shape is 4 square centimeter or not. So beta, if we observe that this shape, which I am again marking with my red marker, just observe, children, this particular shape can exactly fit in this vacant part here, isn't it? And this protruding part, which looks like a mound, I have colored it with red if you observe closely. This can exactly fit in this part. this vacant part, this empty part here. So, if we cut these two marked parts and fix them at these two places, then what do we get? We get a rectangle which is 4 by 1. That means a rectangle which is having 4 squares in one row. So 4 ones are 4. So we have proved that this blue shape is half of the big rectangle. So can we write yes here? Clear? Now here the other child says, so its area is 4 square centimeter. So let's read the question now. Write the area in square centimeters of the shapes below. That means each side of the square in the square grid is of 1 centimeter. Or in other words, we can say the area of each square in this grid is of 1 square centimeter. Now, the first figure that is given to us is this triangle again. Children, now we need to mark a rectangle within which this triangle is drawn. So just observe, my dear children, we will draw a line which is as wide as the base of this triangle. This is the base of this triangle, beta. So I have drawn the two sides of the rectangle which are equal, the two opposite sides. Now this side is actually the height of the triangle. Now we will draw the opposite side of this. So this is the opposite side, children. So what do we get? We get a 3 by 4 rectangle. Now 3 by 4 rectangle means that there are 3 squares and we have 4 such rows of 3 squares. That means the area of this rectangle is 3 fours are 12. Or we can say 4 threes are 12. So area is 12 square centimeter. Not of this triangle but of this rectangle. Now what do we see? That this side of the triangle is dividing this rectangle into two equal parts. So what will be the area of this triangle, beta? Half of the area of this rectangle. And what was the area of the rectangle? It was 12 square centimeter. So the area of this triangle is half of 12. That means 6 square centimeter. I hope you people have understood. So let's move to the next part, which is part B. Now just observe this shape. What do we see? That this shape is not placed exactly on the sides of these small squares. It is somehow placed in the middle like this. So we will have to imagine in our mind that if I shift this shape on the sides of the square, then how many squares will it cover? So, let's see, my dear children. I'm going to show it practically to you, but you will have to imagine it. Okay? This is how we come to know that this shape is actually a 3 by 3 square. So, children, what is the area of this shape? There are 3 squares in each row and we have 3 such rows. So, 3 threes are 9. So, the area of this square is equal to 9 square centimeter. Let's move to part C now. Now this is part C. See, do you remember the second example? In that example, to find the area of that particular shape, we were required to cut. Like we did it in our imagination. Fine. So we were required to cut a part of that shape, 2 parts rather of that shape, and fix them in such a way so that we get a rectangle or a square. So what I am able to make out is, if I cut this protruding part, the part which is coming out like this, bulging out like this part, if I cut this particular part which I have marked just now and fix it here in this area, then what will I get? I'll get a 2 by 2 square. Let me show it to you practically so that you understand it more clearly. So what do you see, my children? We get a 2 by 2 square. So what is the area of this shape? 2 twos are 4. So this shape is covering 4 squares, or we can write the area is 4 square centimeter. Shall we move to the next part, my dear children? So this is the next part. Now, children, after looking at the shape, again I see that I'll have to cut a part and fix it somewhere so that I get a rectangle. So observe, if I cut this protruding part, this protruding part, and fix it at the back here at this place which is vacant. If I fix it here, I'll get a rectangle. Okay, so let me show it to you practically. So children, what do we find? That we have a 6 by 1 rectangle. 6 by 1 rectangle, my dear children. So, how many squares is it covering, beta? 6 ones are 6. So, the area of this figure is 6 square centimeter. Isn't it easy? So let's move to the next part. Oh, now again I see here that I can cut a part and fix it somewhere so that I get a rectangle. Now just observe, my dear kids. Let me select the other pen so that it's clearly visible to you. Let's use red. So, if we cut this part from here, this one, the one which is bulging out, I'm talking about this part, everybody. If we cut this part from here and fix it in this particular space, then what are we going to get? We are going to get a 7 by 3 rectangle. So let's try, everybody. Yes, we have got a rectangle which is covering 7 squares this way and 3 squares this way. So what is the area of this figure, my children? 7 squares in one row, and we have 3 such rows. So 7 threes are 21 square centimeter. Let's move to the next part now. Now, this shape appears to be complex, but if we have a closer look, if we look at it carefully, I find that this particular shape has got 4 blades. See, I'm calling these parts as blades. So this is one blade, this is the second one, this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. So these are 4 blades. And what do I make out is, if I remove this part from here and fix it in this part, then I'll get one whole square. So each blade, according to me, is going to cover one whole square. So we have got 4 blades. So these 4 blades will be covering the area of 4 square centimeter. But remember, we have got these 2 whole squares in the middle holes also. Not 2, we have got 4 beta. I'm sorry. So these are the 4 whole squares which we can already see. But 4 plus the area of 4 blades, 4 plus 4 gives us 8. Let's see whether I am right or am I wrong. Just check. Okay. Yes. If I cut the bigger part and fix it with the smaller one, then it covers one whole square like this. Let's do it with the rest of the blades also. Yes. Wow. Great. Now count again, beta. How many squares is it covering? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8. So this figure has an area of 8 square centimeter. That's it for today. So bye-bye and take care of yourself.